I'll go ahead and do the intro. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Melissa Lesniak. I'm the director of Music Reach for all of you that haven't seen me yet. And I'm so happy you're participating this summer. And we have back by popular demand from last summer, Professor Kaminsky. She's the head of the dance department or program at the Frost School of Music at the University of Miami. And she's also an expert in mindfulness. So she's here to share more with us this year. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's really good to be back with everybody. I don't know how many of you were here last year. If you were, you remember that I was the lady who had you hold an ice cube in your hand. But if you weren't here, we're not doing that again. We're doing something different this year, so that's fine. Um, uh, so I am a dance teacher. I am part of the Frost School of Music, and the music department. Our school has a dance program. We have classes in ballet and modern dance and dance therapy and dance history, all kinds of dance classes. And, you know, music, of course, is a great part of dance because that's what we need when we dance. We can also dance to no music. Um, but music, we know, has a great influence on our brain and our mind. And that's what I'm here to talk about today is that we have a connection, body and mind connection, whether it's through music or through movement. All of these paths lead us to what we call mindfulness. So I see a lot of people are still coming in, which is great. It's a nice large group. So thank you for being here. So I wanted to just start by asking you to think about some questions about what is mindfulness. You might have heard about mindfulness. So I'm going to share my screen. And I just called this meditation for me because I think the things that keep us really busy in life. And what we really need is just a little bit of space and time for ourselves to do some practice of mindfulness. How can we pay attention on purpose and without judgment? So my first slide is to look at this picture and to see the two ideas of mindfulness. Is it mindful or mindful? And the person is thinking lots of things and it's all in their mind, but the dog just sees things as they are. So when we look at mindfulness this way, we can ask ourselves, is our mind full of like what happened yesterday, what's going to happen tomorrow, uh, even what's going to happen in the next few hours, what happened a long time ago? You could have a lot of different thoughts, and if you've ever paid attention to what you're thinking, you know that it just goes from like one thing to the next until you have kind of like this thought bubble here where all of your thoughts are all mushed together. So then all of a sudden you might realize, oh my gosh, my mind's so full of so many things, I don't know what to think about first. Or can we be practicing like our dogs and just see things just as they are, the trees, the sun, and just be present, what we call present. So you could put in the chat what what happens to you. Is your mind full, or do you have moments where your mind is clear, not blank, because our minds will never be blank, but just sort of just seeing things as they are without all the other extra stuff human beings we put in there. I like it, I don't like it, it. This is good. This is bad. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And if this happens, then that, right? That's when our minds get really full. So, those are our ideas about mindful. And our goal, of course, is to just kind of clear out the clutter of the mind and just come back to the present moment, to be more like our dogs and to just have see things as they are without the drama and the trauma around it. So, one definition is to pay attention to what's happening right here and right now with kindness and curiosity. And then we can choose actions that help us to, you know, be clear about what we want and what we know. So, paying attention, that means just noticing, right? Without judgment. How can I, what, what does my body feel right now? Or am I hungry? Am I full? Am I tired? Am I full of energy? What do I hear? What do I see? You know, and then you might like it or you might not like it, but can you just kind of accept it with kindness and just say, instead of judging it right away, just be curious about what's happening right here in this very moment. And then choosing how you want to respond to it rather than just being automatically, you know, reacting to something in the moment. So that's one definition of it. Um, what most people do is what we call automatic pilot. We just do the things that we always do because we've always done them. We don't really think about it, like we brush our teeth in the morning, might take a shower, put on your clothes, go out the door. We don't think about too much. But when we start to like slow down and pay attention to things, we realize there's a lot happening in each moment. So perhaps that will help us, right? Slowing down will help us pay attention better to things. So when someone is talking to you, are you really paying attention to what they're saying? Or are you thinking about what you want to say back to them already? All right. So just kind of like slowing down and doing things a little bit differently. So when you brushed your teeth this morning, did you start on the left side or the right side or up or down? Maybe you didn't really pay attention. And maybe you didn't even brush your teeth this morning. Maybe you just were like, I'm not home. Why I'm not going anywhere. Maybe I'll just kind of like hang out in bed and not really get up too much. That's one of the things that happens, right? During the staying at home, we just kind of don't do things we might usually do if we have more of a routine. But still, not to put our, not to put ourselves down. I did this or I didn't do that. Just be curious. Oh, wow, I did other things today. And those were my choices for my actions. All right, so we're going to practice today about becoming a little bit more mindful. And before we do that, I wanted you to, I'm going to stop my share for a minute and just kind of, you can put something in the chat and you can let me know if you've done any mindfulness practice before. If you know, if you have done some breathing meditation or you know about mindfulness, and you could write maybe a couple of words or a sentence about what you know about mindfulness. And if you share it with everyone, then other people will also get some definitions of it. So there's a few people that are on this screen. Has anyone done mindfulness before? Or if you have not, just raise your hand. This is new to me. I've never
Well,
done it
I
before.
wouldn't I wouldn't exactly call it like mindfulness, but um I've definitely struggled a lot with like focusing and stuff, especially during conversations. So when I was younger, my dad would like run, and when we were in the car, he would run me through like practice conversations so I could practice what's it active listening, and like when someone's talking to like nod your head, or to like be like, okay, so oh, okay, I get you, and like make sure that they know you're listening and that you're actually listening. Because a lot of the time I'll just be like looking at them and then being like, which eye do I look at, and then not realizing what they're saying, and then by the time the conversation's over, I feel really bad. So I mean, like it kind of resonated with what you were saying, active listening. I'm not sure I'd call it mindfulness.
Oh no, that is really a mindful practice. It's like listening practice, right? And yeah, if you can stay really present, especially in situations where you might get nervous, like an interview, or an application for a job or something where you got to go talk to somebody that you don't know very well, but who's maybe in a position to like hire you or um, help you with, doing something that you want to do. So yeah, you could get so anxious that it gets hard to listen to what they're saying because there's other stuff going on in your mind. So that definitely helps. So just like, where are you going to look and what are you going to say and all of those things, if you just kind of slow down and take a breath and, like you said, practice like role play, doing that active listening, you can definitely feel that you're putting your attention right there in the present moment. Okay. Oh, there's another really good practice here in the chat, which is it's called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you count 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, you know, uh, 2 things that you are paying attention to, and whatever. So you can use all of your senses to do that practice. So that's a really good one too for mindfulness. So for all of you that are really new to mindfulness practice, we're going to do a sitting practice right now, and where we just focus on the breath. And it's called STOP, stop. The is for stopping, just like not doing anything right now, taking some deep breaths and observing, and then going from there. So that's what we call the mindful stop. So, what I'd like you to do right now is to, if you feel comfortable, you want to close your eyes, you can focus in on your breath. Um, just take this moment where you don't have to like look at the screen, but you could just listen to my voice and just notice how you're sitting right now. If you want to, you can bring yourself to like a posture where you can really feel your breath, like, when you sing or when you play your instrument, how you need to have your breathing like available to you. And uh, using that sort of vertical feeling of lifting the shoulders back and down and taking a breath in. You can have your hands in any position in your lap, by your sides. If you're at a desk, you might want to rest them on your desk, whatever is comfortable for you. And just take a moment to breathe in and then breathing out. And do this in such a way that you feel that you can notice the feeling of your breath as it goes in through your nose. And then there's this moment of pause, and then there's this exhalation where you can feel the breath going out through your nose. And just allowing your body to just kind of come into stillness and just noticing the breath. As you breathe, you might feel your chest rising and falling, or you might feel your belly rising and falling. And when we take a breath and we pay attention to the breathing, even a small movement can feel bigger. And yet, even though we want our focus to be there, you may notice too that thoughts come in and out. Even if you come back to your breath and say, breathing in, feeling the breath coming in through your nose, and then breathing out, feeling the breath going out through your nose. And just allow your body to kind of settle in, kind of feeling that place where, like, okay, there might be a lot of thoughts floating by. It could be about the future, the past, or what have you, but just kind of letting things go and being curious. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking about that. Okay. And see that thought kind of drift by like a leaf that's floating down the river. You might hear sounds around you and just notice, just listen to them, be curious. Oh, I hear people in my house moving around, or I hear the birds from outside. And just listen. Maybe there's a hum of the lawnmower, or people, cars on the street. Maybe it's super quiet where you are. So just listen to the silence. Maybe you even hear the sound of your breath. And then you might notice your body sitting here in the chair and feeling your legs or your feet touching the ground, or feeling your back or your seat in the chair, and just notice where your arms are resting. Maybe you feel tired or sleepy, or maybe you feel kind of restless or jittery. So just notice how your body feels. And then just notice your thoughts, what's going through your mind. And just breathe in and breathe out, just kind of feeling the whole picture of what's happening for you right now. And then just notice one thing that you are aware of today. It could be something that you hear, something that you see, something that you feel, one thing that you are aware of. And then coming back with your awareness and just noticing if anything feels just a little different from having taken a little time out. That's our stop. And take a breath. What did you observe with this short, like a little, what we call it, the little bit of breathing space? If you want to put something in the chat, maybe you found something that you were aware of. I know I heard a door slamming just in that short time. Good. It's like relaxing your mind, right? Taking that moment to just like take a little break, a little time out. Good. Being aware of the AC, hearing the AC, right? That can be like a background noise. Great. Good. So I think as students of music, you're probably very tuned in to sounds. And maybe that might be a way in which you really find your mindful presence. Just tuning into what's happening right now. And we know sound is very immediate, right? Our brain, that's one of the processing, the sensory processing that goes really quickly is sound, right? So now if you look around your room and maybe there's one thing that you would focus on that helps you to feel calm, something that helps you to feel kind of centered or calm. Is there anything in your room? Maybe you have a window that to the outside you can see the trees or the sunlight or colors, or maybe you have a picture or something in your room which brings your attention into kind of feeling calm or curious or kind. One thing that you see. And take a moment just to focus on that for a little bit. And just kind of notice. The color, the texture, or the design. And then you can share in the chat what you notice something in your room that brings you an awareness, a calming awareness. Great. Okay. So there are lots of little things that we overlook every day, things that can help ground us and make us feel calm. But when we slow down and become mindful and more present, we can notice even the small things that really help us to feel centered. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Thank you for all of the input that you have in the chat, the things that you see in your room and in your spaces. So now if we can do that little shift, labeling things, our sounds, or pay attention to what we hear, touch, or what we see, then it may be a little easier to go and do what we need to do each day with a little clear space that comes up for us. So I'm going to share a little video. It's called The Fly. And I'm not sure it's going to play for you. No, it's not going to play for you, so I'm going to share it a slightly different way. And here's somebody who wants to practice some meditation, but some things get in the way. So we will, let me share this a little differently. You can tell me what you think about it. Okay. All right. So, what did you think was happening to this guy as he's trying to practice some mindfulness? Right? Kind of what happens is to all of those thoughts that we have that seem to irritate us or disturb us. Right. He got really right. He really lost his self control. That's definitely, he was really annoyed. The more, right? The more that something annoys us and we pay attention to it, the more annoyed we get because where our attention goes, that's where our energy flows. So if we pay attention and create this sense of trying to get rid of something that's annoying us, it comes back at us and becomes more and more and more annoying. And sometimes we even get really violent about it, right? And just get really more angry and more upset. Or the more we think about something that we have no control over, and it becomes more powerful, and then it starts to like take control of us, right? Yeah, almost like being bullied by the flies, right? That's how our thoughts can be when we like beat up on ourselves of things that we don't like about ourselves or getting angry at other people and just kind of like replaying it in our head all the time. and then all of a sudden it's definitely out of control. So how did that change? How did that turn around, right? What did he have to do in order to just not become reactive to those thoughts?
Focus on one thing because of
Focus on
because
one
he might have
thing and just, right?
yeah, because he might have because if those flies are representative of all of those thoughts, and he focuses on the painting, all of those other thoughts become meaningless in
Right,
comparison.
right. So by paying attention, right, and focusing on just being present and just looking and seeing what was right in front of him, right? And let all that other stuff just go fade into the background and just be present. Can I be, what can I be in charge of, right? And stay calm when everything else is kind of swirling around you. And soon everything began to calm down. So it's not easy because, you know, in a short exercise like we did, which we just kind of breathe in and breathe out, we can feel our breath, right? But you might be practicing in the midst of a day where something's going really wrong for you, right? And will you focus on that, or will you switch it over and come back to paying attention to what's happening right now, to your breath, and to what's positive or what's grounding, or what can be very present. Good, there's something else in the chat. Is there something else? Okay, right? So where our attention goes, that's where our energy flows. So we want to make sure we can handle the things that are coming up. Okay. So that's our fly. And so there's a saying in mindfulness practice, lose your mind and come to your senses, right? We did that one, which is breathing. And we have another one that helps us, and that's movement. So you might know practices like yoga or walking practice or dancing, which would be my preference, because that helps us also to feel like we can switch the brain from something it might be focused on that's creating the energy drain into something that is positive energy. So I wanted to do another short video, and then we're going to do some movement. So this is how our movement can empower us. And also I'm going to share it slightly differently.
There is a story, usually attributed to the Native American tradition, which illuminates different ways of paying attention. An elder, talking to a child, says, "I have two wolves fighting in my heart. One wolf is fearful, vengeful, envious, resentful, and deceitful. The other wolf is compassionate, loving, generous, truthful, and peaceful." The child asks, "Which wolf will win the fight?" The elder responds, "The one I feed." That doesn't mean we try to deny or hurt or kill the angry wolf. If we did that, we'd end up in a long battle, all the while somehow making that wolf more powerful through our hostility and fear. Hating that wolf sucks the strength right out of us. Instead, we calmly pay attention to the angry wolf and let go of believing they have the answers. If we can do that, they end up lying down next to us, no longer an enemy. We help strengthen the kind and loving wolf, giving it nourishment and support so that we can follow it. That peaceful wolf can become our steady companion and show us the way through all kinds of different life experiences. Restful or chaotic, enjoyable or disappointing experiences may come and go, but we can have a guide with us through it all. This is what mindfulness can help you do. Mindfulness allows us to see our thoughts and feelings as they are beginning. It's very powerful to know what we're feeling as we're feeling it, know what we're thinking as we're thinking it. With mindfulness, we can choose what will strengthen and bring into action, and we can choose what we will gently let go of. We could be at the mercy of old habits or old ways of thinking or old ways of being. We are empowered. It just takes practice.
Okay. All right. So we're going to see if we can focus on feeding that positive mind through movement and present moment awareness. So I'm going to invite you to come back from your screen and to come whatever space that you have that you can move in. You don't need a lot of space, but just kind of like when we're up and close to our screen, right? So now you can kind of step back and take some space. We're going to do some movement like stretching, like yoga. And it's good sometimes to kind of get out of our seat a little bit. And it's an opportunity for you to do a little bit of stretching if you can, and mindful movement. And you can do this, with just even sitting down if you want to, so it's up to you. But if you do want to stand up, that's great. The first one we're going to do is just that mindful presence of just taking the breath and standing. So we're going to reach up into the sky and just take a breath. And exhale, and just letting the arms just go. And then once more, reaching up into the sky. And then this time we're going to go over to the side, take a little stretch over, and then to the other side. And just notice where you feel, right, that your body might be tight or tense, where things kind of get, all of those tensions want to get locked in, and where you want to loosen up a little bit. We'll do that one more time, breathing in and lifting up. And then just going right and left again. And then coming back and then letting go. All right, so that's reaching to the sky. And then we have that feeling that, right, that's vertical, right? When we're feeling, right, really tired, we might be going down into the lower, and just let everything kind of run off. So dropping forward to the lower part, and just let everything kind of run down and run off, and just let it go. And then coming up. And then we'll go to the side, but this time just like letting things go to down and to the other side. So that's how we greet the sun in the morning, like in yoga. So you do the sun salutation, inhale, lifting up, and seeing if you feel like it's really going to be a good day or how you can make it that way. And then exhale, kind of touching the ground or going down to the ground, feeling grounded, and then coming back to the center. And as you move, it might just kind of change things. Maybe there's something that you want to reach for and something you want to let go of. So just doing that with sun salutation, and you can do it one more time. Inhale, lifting up, feeling the day. And then exhale, touching the ground. And then rolling back up through the center. And then we're going to take a little triangle pose over to the side, which is to reach up and to stretch a little bit more. Breathing in and breathing out. You might find this kind of like an awkward pose. And sometimes in life we are in awkward situations where we feel kind of like things are not, the usual or the typical or whatever, and just kind of coming back to the center and then to the other side, kind of seeing if you can just breathe into whatever situation you might find yourself in, even if it's kind of an awkward situation or an awkward position to be in, and just find that triangle pose. And then coming back. And the last one we're going to do is what I call the movement of joy. And it goes like this. You bring your arms out, you bring it up, and you bring it down, and you go, ah. So we have out, up, and then just throw the arms down. And it helps to just make a big sound too. So one more time, inhale, out, up, and just let it all go. That always makes me a lot more joyful when I just really can just let go of anything that's really blocking my path to just feeling okay. And you might want to do one more time. Inhale up, inhale, and exhale. All right, good. And then just shaking out. Okay. Good, so movement can help us feel a little more grounded and a little more centered as we do that. Okay. So now we come to you because we know that music can really help us, like in that video, feed our positive side. So I want you to choose a piece of music that you like and something that you could either listen to with all of your senses, notice how you feel, you can move to it, dance to it, sing to it, imagine it. We're all on Zoom, we all have different, we can listen to whatever we want because we're all in the situation where we can play our own music. And I thought it would be kind of a good mindfulness practice just to create one piece of music and move to it mindfully however you want. So I'm just going to give you time to practice this last little bit of mindfulness where you play a song that you really like and you can move to it however you like. And you don't have to be on camera. You can turn your camera off. You can do whatever you like. So most songs are about like 3 to 4 minutes. So choose a song that's really positive. You can put the name of the song in the chat because maybe you can give other people good ideas about a song that's really got a positive message to it. Something that uplifts you, not something that's like The Fly that makes you angry or upset, but something that grounds you, something that puts your mind into a really good headspace. It can be any kind of music. So I know some of you probably like classical music, or you might like a pop song, or you might like some kind of reggae music or something that feels really good to you. And you can put that in the chat, give other people ideas of a song that you really like, and I'll put a couple of my favorite ones in there. Great, Happy, that's a great song. That was going to be one of mine too. Great. Thank you for these suggestions. These are fun to know. Okay. Good. So I was going to play Happy. And if you want to listen to something else, you can listen to whatever you like to listen to and move to it in whatever way you want to. If you want to move along with me, you can do that. So we'll take a couple minutes just to move however you want to move. That'll be your mindfulness practice, another option for a mindfulness practice today.
Sometimes she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. But yeah, like I don't care, baby, by the way.
So let's just move to a little bit.
Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got, don't hold back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none. Bring me down, love is good. Bring me down, can't none. Bring me down, I said. Bring me down, can't none. Bring me down, love is good. Bring me down, can't none. Bring me down, I said. Cause I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like a room without a roof. Cause I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy, come on. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like
All right. All right. So whether you did my song or your own song, and let's take a moment to come back to our first exercise, which is to just take a breath. And just to notice if anything feels just a little different from having just kind of changed your energy, moving around, breathing, even just watching somebody move, or even just having some kind of different uh, listening, engaging in just sort of imagining yourself move to the music or whatever it is, even that is helpful to just kind of change your brain, puts you in a slightly different place. And perhaps being a little bit more grateful for the fact that you can move. That's a simple thing we overlook all the time, is that we have the ability to move and to experience the world with our senses, and to hear sound and to feel rhythm, and to move our bodies in many different ways. So I wanted to encourage you to maybe your playlist of songs, something that you can go to when you feel those flies coming around you, and getting in your way of seeing and being present in the moment. Okay, so I wanted to hopefully you find that you can have freedom from negative self-judgment and know that it's not real, right? The thoughts may come up about yourself, and we know that those two wolves are still in your mind. If you feed the one of compassion, instead of believing all the negative ones, you know that you can be happier. And even if those other negative judgments come up, just see if you can pay attention with curiosity and kindness, but you don't have to believe everything you think. Most of what we think is not true anyway. So if you can start your day without caffeine or pep pills, if you can be cheerful, ignoring aches and pains, if you can resist complaining and boring people with your troubles, if you can eat the same food every day and be grateful for it, if you can understand when loved ones are too busy to give you time, if you can overlook when people take things out on you, when through no fault of yours, something goes wrong, if you can take criticism and blame without resentment, if you can face the world without lies and deceit, if you can conquer tension without medical help, if you can relax without liquor, if you can sleep without the aid of drugs, if you can do all these things, then you are probably the family dog. So again, kind of our dog, our mindful presence. So I hope that you keep meditating and keep practicing some mindfulness. And I wanted to just see if you have any questions or comments